With ArtFight fast approaching, I'm sure me and many others are rushing to get their character references done. I mean, you can tell I've also been procrastinating a ton by how close this video is to the start of ArtFight. Despite how little time I have a severe case of doing too much, so I've been really focusing on the visual appeal of my references. I've had some people ask how exactly I go about making these types of references, so this video will cover that process from conception to execution, along with providing resources I use. I am going to put a disclaimer that the references I make aren't going to be the best functionality-wise. By that I mean the ideal reference photo for a character would probably be a front and back view of them with a white background and flat colors. That makes it easy for people to color pick and understand all angles of your OC. However, like I mentioned before, I have a chronic case of doing too much, so I aim to make my references pretty and themed as opposed to the most functional things ever. I still think they work as reference sheets, of course, but maybe not as well as the most straightforward ones. And I do have some very functional reference sheets that I did spruce up a little that I can show as well. So if you want to go for that, then you can use these tips and just apply it in that sort of way. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I just wanted to give that small note before I get a bunch of comments telling me that simple reference sheets are probably better. But with that out of the way, let's just get to it. Firstly, you want to come up with an idea for your reference. Usually I try to have a theme in mind, that way I can make the whole thing more cohesive and generate more ideas for things I want to include. For example, for my Monster Hunter OC, I decided to go with a clue board themed reference sheet. For my Babysitter OC, I wanted him to have a colorful and fun reference with some childlike elements such as baby blocks and little doodles on paper. And for my Demon OCs, they work in an office environment, so I gave them both office themed items like ID cards and paper texture. Try to think of things involving your OC that you can pull from. Their occupation, their aesthetic, maybe their hobbies or interests. Usually I try to merge multiple of these things together, combining their overall aesthetic with their occupation. That way people can automatically get an idea of what my OC is about just by looking at their reference. You can communicate that through the pose as well, making their posture more stiff or relaxed. I just try not to do anything too dynamic since you still want it to be readable. I also try not to have my characters cover up any parts of their body when posing, like having their arm crossed or something. Usually when I start my reference sheets, I start with the full body first and foremost, since I know that's a requirement for reference sheets. Sometimes I do a turnaround by copying the full body and flipping it and then erasing it and drawing the back details, but for most of these, I didn't think it was necessary. I guess for my character June, I could have done a back view to make it clear that he has a baby carrier on his back, but for ArtFight, I know a lot of people draw just front-facing views, so I considered it fine. If you don't have the energy to do a back view, you don't have to do a back view. It's really not that serious. After I have the full body sketch is when the theme comes into play, and I import some overlays that fit the theme into the canvas to mess with the composition and such. I'll talk more about where I get these overlays and what things I focus on when creating the composition later, but doodling things out and importing overlays in the early sketching stages will give you a better idea of how you want to lay things out and allow you more room to mess around with these things. This is also when I start thinking about other things I want to include in my reference. Perhaps a small description of the character or details that should be noted. In June's ref, I wanted to include his surrogate niece, a simple ref of his tattoos, point out his missing finger since even I forget to include that sometimes, and a front and back view of the patterns on his shirt since it gets covered by his apron, but sometimes I just want to draw him with just his shirt and not the apron. Try to think of small details people might miss on your OCs to point out or that might be hidden. You could include some different views of their face too, or maybe some expressions. Try to think of these things early and perhaps write them down, that way you can think of the layout of your reference sheet immediately and save yourself from having to redraw or resize things later on when you realize you can't fit all that you'd like. But how should you lay out your elements? How do you make appealing compositions? This is what I will discuss next. I'm lucky that I have a background in graphic design, or at least basic knowledge of graphic design principles. I'd highly recommend looking into these as it will not only help with your reference sheets, but your overall composition. Honestly, character design and graphic design also have a lot of similar concepts that I use in my art all the time, so really good to know these things. I remember my professors would encourage everyone to at least take one graphic design course just so we knew the basics. Of course, I'm not an expert on composition or graphic design, but I will be giving some tips that have helped me figure out the best layout for my references. Also leave some resources about composition in the description if you want to check that out for more professional sources. First and foremost, I think the biggest mistake I see artists make, including myself, is overloading the reference. Even in this reference, I think I could have toned down the detail, maybe made the newspaper in the back a bit more transparent so it doesn't overload the viewer. I used to have the mindset that simple was bad, and more detail was always better, which resulted in me overloading my designs and ref sheets with as much detail as possible to the point that the characters weren't even visible. I see this in some other people's references too, for likely the same reason, resulting in refs where the character is fully shaded to the point it makes it really difficult to color pick, and the background is so detailed it becomes hard to tell what things are. Even though I am sacrificing a bit of functionality for style, I still want them to function as reference sheets, so I always leave mine as flat colors or do very minimal shading. If you do want to render it, I would recommend putting a color palette to the side for people to color pick off of, but sometimes those can be a bit confusing, so I'd rather just leave it flat. Over time, I've learned to have more restraint, something I'm still practicing. For every detailed area I have, I try to make an area with negative space to balance it out. This gives the eye a place to rest, since if there's tons and tons of detail that I won't know where to go. Like on June's reference sheet, all the detail is concentrated on the left side. I honestly would remove the shirt reference if I could to allow for more negative space. I did come up with an alternate version that pushed the shirts downward and closer to the left to allow for some more negative space by the full body, so you can tell me which one you like more in the comments below. It is a bit hard when you want to include all the small details your character has, but you want to make sure it's still legible. But essentially, try to keep things balanced and don't be afraid to leave some negative space. Most of all, you want the character to stand out, so try to make the composition of your reference support that as a main focal point by leaving some breathing room around them. Something I find helpful for reference sheets is dividing the page into half or thirds and putting most of the detail on one half of the page while keeping the others simpler. Or for a reference sheet like this, I divided it into thirds. The main column has the most amount of elements while the surrounding sides are simpler. I'm going to use these simple blocks to kind of communicate that. But this isn't the only composition you could do with this 3-column layout. You can try different compositions by making 2 columns detailed and 1 simple, or shifting around where the detail and negative space is. Hopefully that block example on screen makes sense. It's a simple way I try to look at it. On another note about simplicity, you also want to try to reduce how many colors and fonts you use. Of course, you can make colorful reference sheets work like the one I just showed, but when there's tons of colors and fonts, it can end up overwhelming and cause the same problem of making things hard to read. I'll use my Artfight page as a reference. I try to do only 2 to 3 fonts since it can be incredibly jarring when someone uses more than that. Using a few makes things a lot more cohesive. For my profile, I ended up using 3 since I wanted a header font, a subheader font, and a body font. If you need to do captions, you can just use the body font but smaller. The same applies with colors. You can see I kept the main colors to blue, red, and beige. Obviously my characters utilize more colors, but I try to make their colors more saturated and warmer to fit with the overall color scheme. But the gist is to just reuse colors. I'm going to show you a version of my Artfight profile, but if I used a ton of different shades of blue and red. Notice how it looks a lot less coherent? I think a lot of artists go in with the idea that if they reuse the exact same color, it'll look lazy or be too simple. But it just makes things look a lot more cohesive. So don't be afraid to limit your color palette. Obviously, in these 2 references, I made the backgrounds black and white to make the colored parts stand out more. And as a small bonus tip that I usually forget, my professor would always say to have the character facing inward towards the page, since if they're facing out, then it'll lead the viewer's eyes off the page. We usually look at faces first, and when a character is looking at something, we will always follow their line of sight, which is why this is the case. At least that's what she told me. But low-key, I always forget this. I kind of have to get better at implementing it into my own work. Just thought that might be helpful since she'd always mention it, and it usually does end up looking better. And maybe me saying this will actually make me remember and implement it more. You can also use this tip by having characters look at where you want the viewer's eyes to go, which could be helpful for leading their gaze around the page. It's kind of hard for me to describe how I go about creating my compositions for ref sheets since I don't specialize in graphic design, and oftentimes I end up doing things out of instinct without consciously thinking about why it looks good. I think I built that visual library from my past graphic design courses, but also looking at other people's work. I like looking at a lot of graphic design work on Pinterest as well as other artists to give me ideas for my own compositions and try to analyze them and see what makes each composition work, how they balance detail, and make things look visually appealing. It's given me a lot of ideas for how to lay out my pages and make things interesting. Now I really like implementing both big and small elements into my ref sheets, like full body and then a headshot or something like that, so that there's some fun contrast and more visual interest. I think the technical term is size hierarchy. There's also hierarchy for layout and color and such if you want to research more into that, which might help with designs. So I definitely use that for inspo, not only because it'll give you inspiration, but also because it'll make you more conscious of graphic design rules and choices by noticing patterns in these works. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about where I get the elements I use in my reference sheets. I primarily use Pinterest to get ideas for different fonts and find overlays that fit my needs, but Tumblr is also a great resource for finding overlays, especially ones that fit a set theme. If you use Clip Studio Paint, then I'd also recommend the Clip Studio Asset Store, which has a lot of stamps and patterns you can use super easily, and you can resize them and they won't lose quality at all. Just be careful when using fonts and overlays. Don't use them for commercial purposes unless it's a free to use asset or you buy the commercial license. These things are protected by copyright, so you can land in some trouble for using them depending on the commercial rights. So if you want to stay on the safer side, you can always use your own pictures or draw your own stuff. I'm just using these for personal reference sheets, so I don't really think anyone will care, and I actually paid for the baby block font I used for June's reference sheet, if anyone else wants that as well. But with that being said, in the description I linked a bunch of websites you can find overlays and fonts on, along with some tutorials for how to use them. I also included some Pinterest boards I made with different textures, overlays, and fonts I found. If you have any other resources, please leave it below. I'm hoping to keep adding to this list over time, since I feel like I sometimes stumble across great resources and forget to save it. This way I can have it for myself and for other people. But that's about it as far as my tips and process goes. Sorry if some of the explanations were a bit vague. When it comes to graphic design, I feel like you slowly train your eye to recognize what looks good, similar to art itself. Even looking back at recent reference sheets I've made, I still think there's ways I could have improved the composition, so it's something I'm still working on. But hopefully I could at least point you in the right direction for improving your own artistic eye. But most of all, I do want people to remember that you don't have to make really fancy reference sheets in order to participate in Artfight. I just make mine like these because I find it fun and relaxing, and I want my characters' reference sheets to pop, but they don't need to be fancy if you don't want to do that, or if you're going to burn yourself out doing them right before Artfight. In the previous years, I never had fancy reference sheets. I kind of just had my character standing there, and then I just had some additional images so people got a better idea of my character. So you can always do that. In doing commissions, I've been able to draw people's characters from descriptions, from photo bashing, from the most lazy sketches ever. So really don't worry about it. If you don't want to make fancy reference sheets, then you don't have to. And if you want to, but you're stressed out and it's really close to Artfight, so you're nervous, then you could just do it a different year. Just do it after Artfight. Again, don't burn yourself out before Artfight's even begun. I'm just making this video for people who want to make reference sheets like me. I'm not trying to pressure everyone into thinking that they need really fancy reference sheets to participate. So hopefully that's clear enough. I don't want to stress any beginners out. Just do the bare minimum when it comes to reference sheets and you can make it better later. Like my Artfight profile was the most ugly thing ever until this year where I decided to lock in. So really just don't worry about it. As always, thank you for watching. If you want to know how I made my Artfight profile, I did recently post a YouTube short on the process if you wanted to check that out. I'm hoping to upload a lot for Artfight, so let me know what type of videos you guys would be interested in. Maybe documenting the process for making my attacks and posting the speed paints, talking about Artfight in general, maybe some of the controversies around it. I'm not too sure yet, so just let me know what you guys want to know and what you'd be interested in. But that's all I have for you today, so bye!